I don't know. I just think that the fucking gall of this individual to try to lecture us on what cringe is insufferable, and I don't want to tolerate it. Tolerance
Well,
is a false fucking god.
tolerance is not a Christian virtue.
This is the fucking person that looks down on you and tries to critique what is and what isn't cringe. Fuck you.
Look at it. Just look at it, chat.
This is
I'm gonna have
returned
trouble
me.
sleeping tonight.
Oh yeah, the demons are coming. So let's see. This is apparently them taking a swipe at my boy Geno. So let's take a look.
There's anything inherently wrong with indulging now and then in a little bit of light contempt. Cringing at Davis or Rini or bad American Idol auditions seems pretty harmless, but it can be taken too far. And there's no better case study of taking it too far than the cult following of one Christine Weston Chandler.
Wow, are you really are you really wanting to die on that hill that Chris is? Well, to be fair though, Noel thinks that like Chris genuinely wants to transition into a woman. So, you know, but I don't know, like this is the problem because people
Yeah, I'm taking a look at this like clown ringleader motif, and I'm just coming back to what Powder Keg said a long time ago. That circuses are satanic. That the big top is in fact an antichrist tabernacle.
No, unironically, yeah. But yeah, like, but unironically, this is like, so, a little bit of backstory. This individual has a long running Kiwifarms thread that they are known to browse. Like they are a person that reads their own fucking thread.
So we're talking like Cosmo, right?
Yeah,
levels of
yeah. Contrapoints is unironically narcissistic enough to read their own Kiwifarms thread. This is proven, by the way, because they made a tweet critiquing something that just happened in like one of the thread posts, and then deleted it after people were noticing. Oh shit, this person's actually fucking reading the thread. And they're not very bright, so they, like, you know, tried to delete it, and they look even more guilty now. So, like, yeah, Contra unironically reads their fucking Kiwifarms thread. So, you know, this amount of like self-loathing narcissism is just ooh, and they self-medicate with alcohol. So that's never a good sign. So let's see how the following of Christian Weston Chandler goes too far, because like. I'm gonna be honest. When you're talking to an emotionally fragile person like Chris Chan, and you blackmail them to the point that you try to like get them to burn their house down and stick their medallion up their ass, then yeah, you went too far. But like if you're just, you know, pretending to be Christian Weston Chandler with a brown sweater and like a decent guitar skills, then you're not taking it too far. You're taking it just enough to make things very fucking entertaining.
Yeah, well, at that point, Chris's inability to function in the world was not as well understood, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because everyone at that time thought he was just like a really real weirdo.
Yeah.
But now we know that this guy is like banging on one cylinder maybe half the time and needs a jump.
Unironically, I think the actual people that take it too far are the fucking people that are around him right now that are fucking enabling Chris's bad behavior. Like the people.
Oh, absolutely.
The people, the fucking assholes that like indulge in this fucking play pretend Magichan is sitting right behind my shoulder telling me what to do. Like that shit when you enable Chris Chan to the point where you're like enabling his fucking delusions, that's when you're taking it too fucking far, okay?
Yeah,
like,
he's already got a rather tenuous relationship with reality.
If you're trying to tell Chris to burn his fucking house down, or if you're trying to like enable him thinking that fucking demons are talking to him from beyond the fucking material world. Like, either one of those is taking things too far. Documenting the spectacle that's Christian is not taking it too fucking far, Contra. You just don't like the fact that Kiwifarms is a valid source of information for these fucking exceptional individuals because you are one. Fuck you.
And I do take exception to that individual.
Yeah.
You might want to strap in, Gorge, because this is coconuts. It's bananas. It's a full fruit salad. God, how do I even begin to explain this?
You begin to explain it by saying that you're doing this because you're as much of a fucking lolcow as Christian. Maybe not as popular and maybe not as well known, but you're a fucking lolcow.
Now, wasn't there... I remember either a blog post or a Twitter rant or something like this by this person, and they straight up said, yeah, I'm really tired of woke leftists, because at least, like, normie-cons, they're not going to get on my case when I tell them to call me a woman. And the reason being is that they know, like, this person probably knows Jew lawyers, and it's going to give them a hard time. So they're just like, all right, you know what? Whatever.
Well, no, like, the thing about it is that this person, like, should know better because they have been on the receiving end of lefty purity spiraling retardation. And
exactly.
They don't fucking learn from it. Like, they never fucking learn from it. These people are completely incapable of realizing, you know what? No, these aren't valid grievances that people are laying out for me. These people are fucking insane and they should be ignored or relentlessly fucking ridiculed until they shut the hell up.
Well, it's all pure solipsism. Like, everything is about them and their asshole.
Yeah.
It's like the whole gives me that bit. It's a very straightforward and direct philosophy. It's not about, like, redistributing wealth or anything like that, or any, like, justice and fairness. No, it's you gives me that.
No, it's not full solipsism, or else they would just, like, say fuck you and go fuck yourself. It's like this level of you internalize that all of these fucking grievances are inherently valid because people are bitching about it. It's like, at a certain point, you're just like, no, fuck you. That's the important thing to understand. These people don't get it.
Well, Christine Weston Chandler, more commonly known on the internet as Chris Chan, is the victim of what is quite possibly the longest running and most obsessive internet trolling saga of all time.
This is incorrect. The trolling attempts on Chris Chan are, like, largely defunct now. Like, unless you're calling the people that are enabling Chris's insane behavior, like, trolling, which unironically they are. I think they do probably more damage than bluespike ever did. And this is the guy who tried to, like, get Chris to burn his house down. Like, I genuinely think that, like, to the point where Chris gets a taint piercing and it gets fucking infected and it abscesses and he thinks that he's fucking growing a vagina. Like, no, you know what? You've gone too fucking far. Fuck you.
She's the lolcow of lolcows.
I don't know if Christian is the lolcow of lolcows. I think you're trying to diminish your own status as a fucking lolcow.
Well, people know who Christian is.
That's true. Well, this is a lolcow that gets mainstream media attention, though. That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but still, I mean, people know.
To be fair, Chris Chan has, like, a dedicated subforum of Kiwifarms for him, and although honestly, I'd say that DSP has a more active, like, interest space at this point. Chris Chan's just like, we're just waiting for Barb to die or something like that.
Yeah,
like,
just what happens.
Yeah, like the Chapter 7 bankruptcy saga of DSP is more interesting than the dimensional merge of Chris Chan. Also, I'm drunk, so, like, I know I'm rambling here.
Let's watch a little bit more of this before we interrupt again.
This is Christine Chandler coming to you live from home once again.
Chandler is an autistic trans woman, and yes, I will be calling her by she/her pronouns, which I pause to explain because I don't think I've ever seen anyone actually take her transition seriously.
Unironically, Josh of Kiwifarms actually does, so I don't know. Whatever. I'm still gonna refer to Chris Chan as Chris Chan. That's the easiest way to fucking do it, because not everybody's, like, up to date with the fucking weird shit that they're up to now. And I just say they because fuck you. I'm gonna piss everybody off. I don't care. Go fuck yourself.
Most people seem
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly.
to regard it as simply another absurd symptom of her hilarious mental condition. In fact, a bunch of trans people will probably get real salty with me for making trans people look bad by including Chris Chan in our very prestigious and exclusive club.
Honestly, I'd say that Jonathan Yaniv is probably much more of a damaging exemplar of your community than Chris Chan is.
I think this thing is as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, but still, yeah.
I mean, just look at those eyes. There's no soul there.
Yeah. This is the problem when you take the when you put too much of an emphasis on the aesthetic and not enough on the substance of what you're doing.
Please. Transsexualism is a deviant sexual identity, sweaty. This is not the Princeton Alumni Yacht Society. God, how did trannies get so snobbish? Look, is Chris Chan really trans? I don't know, and I don't care. If Chris Chan wants to be a woman, I for one support her journey. But it doesn't matter. The relevant thing about Chris Chan is not Chris Chan. It's the fact that for the last 13 years, nearly every aspect of her life has been obsessively archived online by thousands of viewers known as Christorians.
Incidentally, this isn't because of the obsessive lengths that Christorians have gone through to actually document Chris's life and experiences and stuff like this. It's because Chris will not fucking stop sharing on the internet. There's a dry spell because Chris wasn't online for a good portion after Bob died. But it doesn't matter because Chris cannot help himself in sharing every single fucking facet of it. The only time the information might be going too far is when people search through their fucking trash after the fire. That's when it takes it just a little too far. Everything else has been volunteered by Chris himself.
Yep.
Chandler first acquired this anti-fandom several internet centuries ago, back in 2007, when 4chan took notice of her comic book series, Sonichu.
This is also really bad research. Something Awful had begun discussing Chris Chan before the 4chan threads on him. So no.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could have just cribbed Frederick Knudsen.
Yeah, I unironically, Frederick Knudsen is this is why I fucking hate these people, because they lampoon as fucking intellectuals. They can't even do the basest fucking research.
Flam, to utilize any research compiled by Christorians would in fact be advocating their narrative.
I know, but
Contrapoints had to do all of their own research, so it's understandable they would get a few things wrong when they literally can't use any source at all.
I don't like these people. I unironically just do not like these people because they maintain this fucking prestige of being smarter than they actually are, and it pisses me off.
It's how do I communicate to you how dumb you actually are?
Yeah, exactly. This is the same thing that I was dealing with yesterday. It's just it really hurts. It that's the thing that made me angry. Whatever.
A childishly drawn hybrid of Sonic and Pikachu. The comic is set in Quickville, CWC being Chris Chan's initials. The protagonist is a self-insert who references Chandler's real-life, quote, love quest to find a, quote, boyfriend-free girl, which apparently involved posting bizarre attraction signs around her community college. For this story to make sense, you have to keep in mind that Chandler identified and presented as male until 2015. So these trolls saw.
This is also incorrect. Chris Chan started cross-dressing well before 2015. Again, this is you've done absolutely zero research on this, and it shows. I'm not even fucking current on the Chris Chan lore. I stopped paying attention in 2009. I know this better than you, and I haven't done any research into this. And this is supposedly a person that gets like tens of thousands of dollars online a month because they're like fucking big brained. These people, it's a fucking cult and they're fucking stupid. And it irks me. Like it really does.
Saw her as like the ultimate autistic incel man-child. Just to give you a feel for this person, here's Christine in 2018 holding up the iconic pre-transition portrait. Note the sonneteer medallions. Here's the bedroom she lived in, and here she is in recent years giving us a full BronyCon eleganza. Pegasister snapped. Basically, she's the entire Cringetopia subreddit condensed into a single person. So 4chan zeroed right in on this shit, cause of course they did. And they began tormenting her by creating pornographic parodies of Sonichu, posting candid photos of her, etc. Chandler reacted to the trolls, which of course encouraged them more, and the harassment escalated and escalated. They hacked her accounts or tricked her into giving out passwords. They posted all her emails online. They showed up in person and photographed her house. They called her parents, posing as friends, psychiatrists, journalists, employers, in order to extract as much information about her as possible. And of course, they contacted Chandler herself, which was very rewarding for trolls because she has no filter and was very naive and trusting. So she was very willing to divulge, or easily manipulated into divulging, mortifying information about herself. Sexual, psychological, scatological, there's not really any limits or boundaries to this.
Most of this is true, but some of this was stuff that was like posted on their own YouTube thing without like any troll encouragement.
Yeah, without prompting. Once again, Frederick Knudsen talked about all of this.
Yeah.
If you'd have just watched his videos, you would have known this.
And unironically, I'm of the opinion with lolcows that you should just kind of
Hands off.
observe at a distance, document and laugh behind the scenes. Don't actually go out and fuck with them because then you get like moral figs like this.
For all the information they gathered, the trolls created a wiki called the Quickie, devoted to the obsessive compiling of all Chris Chan data. It includes a detailed diagram of her bedroom, entire articles about all members of her immediate and extended family, pages of psychiatric records she was tricked into sending them.
I don't think that they were tricked into sending psychiatric records. Again, Chris will fucking post anything online that it doesn't even need prompting. Like it's not. That's wrong.
And I talk with a horrible lisp and with uptalk, and it's really annoying.
The title of this video is very accurate.
Yeah, but not for the reasons I think the author intended.
Yeah.
Right for the wrong reasons.
Only the beginning. In their more grandiose moods, the Christorians have speculated that Chris Chan is the most documented life in all human history, comparing their social experimentation.
Yeah, like, unironically, the amount of data that's been documented about Chris rivals, like, major historical figures. I'm fairly certain that we know more about the proclivities of Chris than we even know of Caligula.
Yep.
One of the things that's important to note is that a lot of this is just due to the instantaneous communication of the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Where it's like you can find pretty detailed histories of, say, Julius Caesar, but a lot of that does rely on speculation, either from Caesar's own propaganda or from the commentary of his friends.
Yeah.
And sometimes the commentary of his enemies.
Whereas, like, we can easily discern what is and what isn't true about Chris Chan.
But, of course, that may very well change if we extrapolate out 2 millennia from now and imagine someone looking back at the life of Chris Chan.
Yeah, really. And how much of it was lost at the time? Like, how many notes of Julius Caesar that he kept, like, on parchment or whatever got lost or in a fire or something, or just rotted away?
Yeah. And like I said, I think after Barb dies, we're going to get more documentation of Chris Chan. I think that's when we're going to see, like, the end game.
Yeah.
And it's always just mentioning the Julius Caesar example, it's also important to remember a lot of the history of Julius Caesar we know because Caesar wrote it himself.
Right. Mm-hmm.
to The Truman Show. It's a level of obsession that surpasses the wildest excesses of stan culture. It's a gaze into the abyss that does not blink. Some trolls have also sent taunting letters and packages, or on one occasion, sex workers, to the Chandler household.
That was more than one occasion. And then Chris had asked some of the people that were trolling him about the numbers, because he had reconsidered and said, you know what, actually, let's get fucking prostitutes to come here. This virginity ain't gonna lose itself. Like, no. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if this is like a valid point of harassment, because Chris actually actively sought the escorts in question.
Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna make my own Chris Chan with blackjack and hookers, and Chris Chan's like, can I come?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, because like I think Bob and Barb had pushed them away, but Chris is like, no, actually, like, low key.
Well, I mean,
someone
someone was nice enough to send them. It would be wrong to turn them away, Mom.
Yeah.
Female trolls actually went on real-life dates with Chris Chan, of course, secretly wearing wires to record their conversations. Others pretended to be her internet girlfriends so they could solicit and post nudes and masturbation videos.
To be fair, they also tried to solicit Chris into being a functioning member of society. The Jackie email specifically kind of shed a light into a person who was trying to, like, hey, you know what, Chris, would be really fucking hot to me if you, like, didn't play video games all day and went out and got a fucking job. But no, we're not going to talk about those people. No, okay, fuck you.
These things must be archived, don't you understand? Chris Chan must be documented. The absolute low point came when some trolls encouraged a 13-year-old boy to pose as a 19-year-old girl and to have phone sex with Chris Chan and record it. In other words, they groomed a child to deceive an autistic person into performing sex acts for their entertainment.
What are you upset because you didn't get to him first?
I would love for Natalie / Nick / whatever to prove that the people that were involved in the bluespike stuff, that they actively encouraged bluespike to go out and have phone sex with Chris. I would love proof that bluespike didn't do it on his own volition, because bluespike is a fucking sociopath. Like, fuck you. This is a lie. You probably know it's a lie. You probably know that it's a lie, and you're going to say it anyway because you know that your audience is dumb enough to not critically examine what you're putting forth. Fuck you.
I mean, the only reason that this is upsetting to this person is that they probably couldn't get to this person themselves to groom them themselves. Let's be honest.
Now, fuck this person.
Now, to contemporary Christorians, this sort of sadistic interference in Christine's life is frowned upon. Not so much because it's immoral, so much as because it's considered a bit tacky.
No, a lot of people, including myself, think that bluespike is a fucking sociopath and should probably be far away from anybody if possible. Because, again, he's the person that wanted Chris to fucking burn his house down. But, I don't know. I guess we have fucking morals. But, no, of course. Listen, you can't go on the internet and talk about people like this and talk about it in realms that, like, from a neutral standpoint, you have to be better than them. Like, and I'm gonna clue you in on something to the people who might watch this and think that, like, Contrapoints is the hottest thing since sliced bread. If you have to tell yourself that you're better than people online, chances are you fucking aren't. You're probably just as fucking awful as they are.
And having less fun, too.
Exactly.
Seeking. No, to the sophisticated Christorian, the real pleasure in all this is supposed to lie in quietly spectating, savoring the fine notes of cringe. Now, I take it I don't even need to comment on the morality of all this. The real question to me...
No, please, substantiate your morality.
Yeah.
Why do thousands of people have a morbid obsession with Christine Chandler?
Because trash fires are interesting to look at. Unironically, that's
because there's nothing better on television.
yeah,
Let's be
exactly.
really-
Like the life and times of Christian Weston Chandler is much more interesting than any fucking high budget Hollywood production. It's something that draws you in and keeps a hold of you better than fucking Breaking Bad, okay? The character developments are like superb. You literally cannot make this shit up.
And yes, it is an obsession. Just to give you a sense of a single individual's personal investment in this, the YouTuber Geno Samuel, one of very few Christorians with the audacity to show his face, has been working for more than 2 years to produce an eventual 100-episode documentary series about the life of Chris Chan. Geno has completed 36 episodes so far, and each episode is around 40 minutes long, meaning
And every episode has more integrity and research than any single one of your entire body of work. Go fuck yourself.
To give you guys an idea here for comparison, like my favorite pop podcast is one about the history of Rome. Those episodes normally clock in at about 30 minutes, and there's like 150 of them.
Yeah, like
There is more. This is going to have more information on the life of a single thing than a fairly comprehensive pop podcast about the history of Rome.
See, I
That
actually
is horrifying to me.
I was lurking around in some of the places after my latest discussion with somebody who's really fucking stupid, and their Discord was like bringing up the fact that I'm in Geno Samuel's Discord. I was wondering how the fuck do they know about Geno Samuel, but like this is why. And like unironically, I think that Contra at some point kind of understands that they have very mentally unstable people in their audience, and highlighting this person as a negative person is essentially tantamount to encouraging cyber harassment. So no, Contra, you're not fucking better than the people that went out and fucked with Chris Chan. You're just as bad. You're just also having the level of duplicity that makes you think that you're like doing it in a like sneaky way so you can pretend that you're better. You're really not. You're a piece of subhuman trash. And it has nothing to do with your personal life. It just has to do with your fucking narcissistic personality. I hope you drink yourself to death.
Well, I mean, it's the notion of sort of tribal, the tribal morality, where we these rules are for us, you know, at least on paper. They do it to themselves all the time because they're psychopaths. But no, they're out like. We're outside of the tribe, so we don't get the same considerations as someone in the tribe.
Yep. Hate these people, unironically.
he's already produced around 24 hours of video about the life of what is essentially a random stranger. I think this phenomenon deserves its own name. I'll call it morbid cringe, defined as an obsessive and addictive contemptuous fascination with a particular person or group.
Again, obsessive is a relative term. I don't think Geno is obsessed with Chris Chan. I think he understands that there is a demand to like kind of understand about Chris Chan, the phenomena around them, and Geno is fulfilling a market demand. And I don't think that the people who watch Geno's work are obsessive. I think they're just vaguely interested and want something to listen to.
Yeah, I was going to say, anyone putting out this much content on such an interesting topic, you're going to attract viewers.
Yeah, I don't think, like, true crime people are obsessed with murder. I think they're just, like, interested in it, maybe. But whatever. Again, the people that watch this, unironically, for, like, enjoyment or, dare I say it, educational material are the real fucking cringe.
Why does morbid cringe happen? Well, I've spent some time poring over Christorians' conversation.
By the way, this is a failed philosophy grad student that basically drunk their way out of academia. So just to frame this in case anyone might be confused as to whether or not this is a valid educational standpoint, it isn't. This is a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I've known people in grad school, they tend to drink an awful lot. How much do you have to drink to fall off the wagon in academia of all places?
A lot. Also, I think they were like engaging in other substance abuses. I'm not. This person isn't as interesting as Christian, I hate to say. But they do have a very lengthy Kiwifarms thread that I encourage people to go read.
With each other, and I've even interrogated a couple of them. And this is what I've found. The first thing they'll tell you...
I'm gonna press X to doubt. The reason why Contrapoints doesn't do live debates is because they're really fucking bad at it. Shoe on Head and Blair White bullied the shit out of this person on a live stream. That's the level of like you couldn't take it. You couldn't take shit from Blair White or from Shoe on Head. That's when you know that, you know what, this is why I don't go on live streams, because I'm fucking awful at banter.
Hey, Flam, good news.
Yes.
Halo 2 comes out tomorrow.
Yes! Oh, can't wait for it. Can't wait for it.
I just think it's funny and entertaining that Christine's strange life and mind simply appeals to their morbid curiosity. And I'm sure that's true. But a lot of things are funny and entertaining and morbidly interesting. Why?
Such as the Contrapoints Kiwifarms thread.
Yeah.
That's a laugh fucking riot from what I can understand.
Why fixate on this particular person? Well, for a long...
Because it's interesting.
Yeah, why don't you do something else? Why don't you?
Yeah, why don't you make something that's more interesting to draw people from watching Christian Weston Chandler documentaries?
Well, to be fair, this is basically the intellectual equivalent of the he turns himself into a pickle, funniest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah. Like,
it's commentary on commentary in the same way that's humor about humor.
The I guess the telling thing is that Geno Samuel didn't start anything specifically. He just thought, hey, I'll do a documentary on the lifetime of Christian Weston Chandler. And he's getting to the point where his videos reach like 100,000 views in less than a day. And
so why would he stop?
This video has 500,000 views in a day's time. And I think they kind of understand that they're being propped up by big media corporations, whereas Geno is just thriving on natural talent and investigative abilities, as well as like painstaking research to tell a story. And I think that Geno is just more talented than this, and he doesn't have any major funding. And I think there might be just a hint of the green-eyed monster, shall we say.
Well, one thing I want to say is that I think one of Contrapoint's more critical errors here is in suggesting that media that focuses on following the life or times of a specific unusual individual is like a modern phenomenon.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's
like people, as much as I hate to say it, people have always been fascinated in the weird and bizarre.
Yeah.
There's a figure, I forget the dude's name, but if you look up the Emperor of America, you can probably find him. This was
Emperor Norton.
Emperor Norton, there we go. This was a dude out in California who basically walked the streets as a hobo, and whose comings and goings were exhaustively documented by the newspapers of the time. Like, you could find it almost every day. You could find an article in there about Emperor Norton gathering a crowd and giving a rousing speech of some kind.
I don't think it's
because this was a guy who was very clearly this is a guy who was very clearly mentally unhinged. But the way society felt the best way to go about dealing with him was just to let him do his thing harmlessly. Make sure he had some okay food and a place to sleep every night, and just people were, whether it was the right thing or wrong thing to do morally, they were morbidly curious with this guy.
Yep.
They of what this guy was about and what he was doing, and so they made him a spectacle.
Yep.
The only reason people don't know as much about him is because he didn't live in an age where everything could be documented online.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
the thing
believe he
is-
was from. I believe he was from San Francisco Holocene. I believe that is the same gentleman I'm thinking of.
No surprise.
He was.
and I think
Either that or Florida.
And I think the most telling part is because I've never seen any sort of documentation that suggests that the people that were like in the trolling group that bluespike was a part of actively encouraged bluespike to like have cyber sex with Christian or have to have phone sex with Christian. So like they're making shit up to frame an already detestable individual as if like to frame his group as a terrible person. It's like some sort of like sexual deviance. Like, no, Chris Chan is probably the biggest sexual deviant of this entire story. Bluespike is a fucking sociopath. He's a fucking piece of shit, and I really hope that he dies, but I don't think that Clyde Cash actively encouraged him to get Chris Chan to scream Julay, Julay. I don't think that's it. And if you have to lie about people to make yourself like better than them, you're not.
I don't think the person's
also-
lying. I just think they're that lazy.
Yeah, that's probably true too. And if you have like a fucking writing team and they can't even do this basic bitch research, then you should probably just quit YouTube. You're a failure at it.
This person has more than one individual working on this shit.
Yes,
Boy.
That's the depressing thing. Like, this is the collaboration of like at least 5 fucking people.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
But, I'm thinking like maybe one other person. But no. just five.
Meanwhile, TRS just sort of gets by on the unpaid labor of one Sven Sontag, literally working in his basement with a green screen.
Yep.
in a well full of guitars, apparently. All right, let's finish this up. I want to kill myself.
A lot of them, it's a reassurance that there's someone out there worse than them. Maybe they're nerdy loners with no
Ew.
social skills.
This is literally what you've been trying to do for the last 7 minutes, implying that the people around bluespike were fucking pedophiles. Go fuck yourself, you fucking hack.
But at least this defenseless punching bag called Chris Chan is here for them to assert their superiority over. It's pretty much common knowledge.
Also, it's a well-known thing at the bottom of like every part of the replies of Kiwifarms. Don't like go on about how better you are than a lolcow. Chances are, if you're on the internet telling yourself that you're better than somebody, you really aren't. Like, this is a person that reads their Kiwifarms thread but doesn't actually like engage with the culture, or at least the culture that they try to like cultivate.
So right quick, someone in the chat asked, "Is that fucking Miles Poland?" Yes, it is. And I want to ask you, I am not Miles Poland, but I do want to ask you, is this the Larry Ridgway?
Go fuck yourselves.
Because if it is the Larry Ridgway, I'm very interested to know that he listens to flamenco.
Yeah, that's actually kind of surprising. Larry,
Hey Larry, how you been, buddy?
you should hop into the Discord. All right, let's finish this up because I want to finish
Yeah,
this up.
let's do it.
A lot of Christorians, including some of the most vocal haters, are autistic themselves. And a frequent justification given for trolling Chris Chan is that she's giving autistics a bad name. In recent
No, this is something that Chris complains about. He complains about the mentally ill.
Yeah, he complains about people with Asperger's. They're not real autistics.
Yeah, so no, this is what Chris Chan actually does, you fucking idiot.
Autistic purity spiraler. What an odd concept. You're not allowed in Chris's club.
God, I wish I had powder keg for this. Holy shit. I might get powder keg.
I think you would be continually going on about how the circus is full of demons, and this is proof. If he weren't, I'd keep reminding him of that.
YouTube's fucking up. 1 second. Let me restart this.
To be
Fuck
clear,
you.
I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with indulging now and then in a of transgender trolls who are likewise prone to say, "He's not a real transgender like me, and he's making us all look bad."
No, he makes you look.
Fine job yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say he makes you look like how you actually look.
Yeah. Or you
Christianity's just more honest about it.
Or you need.
Perhaps he just holds up a mirror to the parts of you that you attempt to hide behind makeup and by tucking.
And faux like civility and politeness and like acting like the same thing with Yaniv. Yaniv is like a lightning rod because Yaniv embodies like the worst aspects. Like Yaniv understands the system that is in place and exploits it, but like you're not supposed to like actively act like you're running the show. You're supposed to act like you're being oppressed. But Yaniv doesn't get the fucking memo.
I think they get off on the attention that they get, though. So they understand. It's just that doesn't get them hard.
Because people who troll Christian, you guys look amazing. It's common for trolls to offer rationalizations like this about why trolling Chandler is justified, righteous even.
I will say this, if to the people that were trolling Christian to get him to stop playing video games as much and go out and get a fucking job, yeah, your cause was righteous. I would say, if you, because you seem to actually have your heart in a good place. You were actively trying to get Chris to be a functioning member of society, because you probably understood that Bob and Barb have a fucking foot in the grave.
Because, at the end of the day, trolls are people too. And a lot of them actually do have a guilty conscience about this, which they suppress by insisting that Christian is a horrible person who deserves to be tormented.
Christian is a horrible person, probably doesn't deserve some of the torment, but I also am a firm believer in maybe like some bullying to get people to like be functioning members of society. I don't know, maybe that's kind of the problem that we're facing right now in modernity. Just maybe don't be so cruel about it, but like some cruelty is needed to get people to stop acting like fucking spurgs on the internet. Like, just get him to fucking cut that internet down. He'll be a much happier person. Like Josh is like the fucking motherfucking Teresa of dealing with Chris. He literally set up an LLC to get Chris Chan like a way of getting money, because he understands that he's never going to be able to work a fucking real job. And he understands that Barb is going to die soon. And he wants Chris to have like financial stability. And all Chris has to do is fucking draw the comics. And he can't fucking do it because there are fucking speds like you that are constantly enabling his ass. Like, the White Knights are more dangerous than the fucking trolls. This is a fucking fact.
That's always the way it is, though. I think C.S. Lewis put it best when he said a dictatorship cast in the benefit of the dictated to is more dangerous than an actual tyrant, because at some point the tyrant may actually get bored, but the person who thinks they're doing the good thing, they're completely satisfied by their own conscience, and they're never going to let up.
Yeah, the way C.S. Lewis put it is, those who rule over you for your own benefit do so without cease, because they do so with the consent
Approval
of their own consciousness.
Yeah, I forgot exactly how he put that. I didn't have time to pull up the quote right away, but
yeah, it's one of those ones that conservatives like to pull up every now and again when talking about like the moral superiority of liberals. But it's just good for every situation.
yeah. Well, the difference is that conservatives will actually just leave you alone for the most part.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental difference, is that they will just fuck off.
It's the only people that might try and rule over you for your own benefit are like evangelicals, and evangelicals have enough personal baggage that they're not super interested in doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, even though even then it's going to be like, sooner or later, if you say fuck off, they're going to say, all right, well, whatever. Like, eventually, if you're not interested, they will give up on you. Cast not your pearls before swine.
Larry Ridgway donates 2 diamonds asking, is this a demon on the screen and holding a whip from Satan's circus? Yes, this is a demon. This is a Slaneshi demon on screen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cribbing Powderkeg's point here, but he is big on the idea that the circus is satanic. The big top is the anti-Christian tabernacle.
Yeah, Powderkeg Powder
They're-
Keg's
they're
words
channeling-
are resonating with me. Holy shit.
Well, it's mostly he did that at the time because Finley was big into clown posting, but like I unironically could be true.
Yeah, I think that you got something. Wait, what?
Satan disavows his association with this man. I don't think he does.
No.
Satan avows entirely.
Well,
Yeah.
according to some early saints, apparently even demons think sodomy is gross.
Ooh.
Well, yeah. The
Wow.
important thing to remember is the important thing to remember about Satan is that he finds most things about mankind repulsive, which is why he does what he does.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it. He does not do it because he thinks it's cool. He wants to trick you into doing it because you might think it's cool, and then he can laugh at you.
Yeah, the whole point is he kind of hates us.
Yeah.
I unironically think that Contra is engaged in like a really fucking weird effort of troll shielding though, because like I said, they have a fucking very, very large Kiwifarms thread, and it's largely very self-earned.
Oh yeah, of course. This person, this person is very clearly projecting.
Yeah. Let's finish this up.
But trolls who protest too much about the evils of Christian, and therefore reveal the excess of their emotional investment in this, are known in the community as alogs. Alog is the name of a troll who attracted the ire of other trolls by ranting about Christian's crimes, comparing her to Hitler, and generally betraying a pathological hate obsession.
So what you're saying is that these communities have ways of self-correcting for the people that get like way too fucking invested. It's weird. It's like your original premise was that these people are super obsessed, and now you have to backtrack it to, oh, by the way, these people also like watchdog their own members when they fucking start acting like fucking speds themselves. Jeez. I wonder why you decide to add it at this part when people forget your original fucking point because they're fucking high off their ass.
Really makes you think.
Oh my god. Fucking hate pseudo-intellectual retards. Fuck these people.
Among the trolls, this kind of behavior is considered an embarrassment to all of them because they want to feel like they're just coolly and casually toying with this person.
Because most of them are. They're largely disconnected from it. When people start acting like speds, they call it out. It's as if when you make fun of people on the internet for being like completely weird and obsessive, you also like make sure that when people in your own group start acting like that, you like cut it down. Not necessarily because it reflects badly on the group. It's because, oh, hey, this is a new person that's acting like a fucking asshole online. Let's do this to him now.
You know, just for laughs. Not a big deal. This is all perfectly healthy and normal and fine.
Making videos like this is totally normal and healthy and fine, and this person isn't going to die of alcoholism in the next 10 years.
Oh, that freeze is nightmarish.
Yeah, I know, right?
Fine. But Alog gave the lie to that illusion because it was obvious that his Christian obsession wasn't healthy or normal or fine. So the other trolls turned on Alog and they made him into Christian 2.0, and they uncovered his autism and his furry porn collection and his cringy erotic fan fiction. So why would someone as similar to Christian as Alog obsessively hate on her? Well,
Because there's a weird little phenomenon known as troll shielding. When you engage in weird deviant behavior, you gravitate towards the people that are basically, you know, trolling those people, and you try to join up with them because you think that if you're shooting from the sidelines, then the fire's never going to be directed towards you.
there's two explanations.
No, there
One
isn't.
is troll shielding. That is,
There's
Alog
only
may have
one.
performatively despised Christian and spearheaded the trolling efforts in order to protect himself from being targeted by trolls. The idea is that you can protect yourself from the mob by waving your pitchfork the hardest. Obviously, this did not work. The other explanation
No, it did work for a while, but then you got like too fucking obsessive over it. Proper troll shielding is when you shouldn't troll shield regardless. Like, troll shielding is dumb. Like, you should troll because you find it fun. When you stop having fun, then people start like looking at you weird and start looking into you.
Is that Alog saw himself reflected in Christian and sort of projected his own shame and self-contempt onto her. Alog
You mean like what you're doing now?
Yep. Although this is more of like a broad critique of like indirectly critiquing the people that run their Kiwifarms thread that they, like I said, read constantly.
There's a lot of passive aggressiveness. Anyway, Flame, I gotta bounce for the night.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Night,
See you,
Miles.
See ya.
Another days.
I'm gonna finish this fucking part of on Chris Chan because I'm fucking ready to finish this. I'm gonna shoot myself.
Because he saw part of himself in her, and the other trolls hated Alog because they saw part of themselves in him. To quote Margaret Pless, who covered this story for New York Magazine a few years ago, I think it might be Alog's all the way down. People form morbid cringe obsessions with Chris Chan because to them she's a symbol of something they hate about themselves.
I don't think that I've ever seen a example of A-log on A-log violence. I think it's generally the broad majority of people that are just kind of like disconnected because it's interesting or fun targeting the person that is like acting like a fucking crusader on a mission from God to control these people.
I hate this psychological phenomenon that people have fallen into where every criticism is actually projection. Like,
Well-
projection is a real thing that people do.
Yeah.
And there's definitely certain personality types that engage in it more than other people. But I really hate this broad brush idea that the only reason that you would be opposed to a thing or discuss a thing or even compile information about a thing is because it's something that you hate about yourself.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that has bugged me for a long time. Like, I agree with certain ideas where people talk about the idea that the left always projects, largely because of the personality types that gravitate towards the left and what they do and what they are about. But it's entirely possible to have a fascination with a thing entirely because you don't understand it and want to know more about it, without having some, like, secret thread that somehow subtly connects you to the weirdness and absurdity that you're documenting.
Yeah.
Something they're ashamed of. Maybe it's being on the autism spectrum, or being a socially awkward recluse. Maybe it's being unemployed and living with their parents, or an adulthood fixation on children's cartoons.
All of these are passive aggressive snipes at the people that are detractors. But again, we're framing it in the way of Chris Chan because if I make it about myself, then people understand that I'm insecure about the fact that people document my fuck ups, and I'm very like obsessive about reading it.
Or embarrassing sexual proclivities, or all of the above. This is how scapegoating works, right? You repress your uncomfortable feelings of shame and insecurity and self-loathing, and you displace them onto someone else.
No, that's not how scapegoating works. You try to pin like bad shit on a group or individual, and to it's not even necessarily like shift blame away from yourself. It's just to like shift blame onto something.
Yeah, what I will say, Flamenco, is that both those definitions are actually valid. Like, they are ultimately an attempt to, yes, there's the shifting blame aspect, but there's also the idea of I can make this other thing, whatever the scapegoat is, suffer or die or what have you, and that is recompense for my own failings. Like, that's the literal idea, like the Jewish idea of the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Is that you kill the goat is atonement for your own sins. You make a sacrifice to God in exchange for your own life, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's but to call it scapegoating is a very large leap. I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Again, I think this is like, I think they're trying to scapegoat Christian's trolls as like an allegory for their own trolls.
Yeah, well, that's definitely true. But it's my statement is not that I think her idea of scapegoating is invalid. Like her definition is solid, or Contrapoints' definition is solid. But the issue is that it's making a big reach by suggesting that scapegoating's going on.
Yeah. I also think that like mentioning like deviants in Christian's community, specifically bluespike, and like asserting that the people around bluespike were like grooming bluespike, is scapegoating. Like, oh, by the way, all these people are like this. So the people that document my fucking fuck ups on Kiwifarms are just as fucking guilty as like the people grooming bluespike. I think they're trying to draw that connection sort of like sneakily, because if they, like I said, if they do it blatantly, people are going to pick up on it and they're just going to fuck with them more.
Well, someone in the chat asks, so what is it when the tan Germans fuck a goat? Well, that's just birth control, dude. It was the Arabs who first perfected birth control by creating a condom out of a goat's intestines. In the 19th century, the British perfected it further by first removing the intestines from the goat.
I did not know that.
Someone you can feel superior to. Then, you blame and persecute the scapegoat, transforming your painful shame and self-loathing into pleasant, judgmental self-righteousness. It's pretty safe to assume that a large percentage of Christorians and trolls are some kind of social outcasts, much like Christian. So bonding together...
I would say that Liquid Chris is pretty much the example of why this is wrong. Liquid Chris is a pretty like well-adjusted member of society. He just found it fucking funny to pretend to be the real Christian Weston Chandler, and Christian fucking sped it out about it and encouraged more of it, and we had probably the best saga and the best rendition. Oh, sorry.
What I will say is that like Contrapoint's definition of scapegoating was rather solid up until the very end. Flubbed in the end zone there. That may be a psychological definition of scapegoating, but it bears no resemblance to the actual act of scapegoating as practiced historically.
Yeah.
Like the idea of scapegoating is not that you're transforming your self-loathing into judgmental fervor. You feel no ill will towards the goat which you are scapegoating. You do it as a necessary act in recognition that God in his mercy will take this and call it enough.
Yeah.
That it's that ultimately you are looking at the goat whose throat is slit and is bleeding on the ground and go, this is what I deserve, but God will take this and consider it a fair trade.
See, the way I've always seen it is like you also can scapegoat tragedies and get like something that you want out of it by like saying, oh, by the way, this guy did it, like the USS Maine or something like that.
Yeah, well, it's the actual religious practice of scapegoating, as you see it, like practiced even by Abraham in the Bible, where he kills a goat in exchange for instead of his son Isaac, as God commanded, because God tells him not to kill Isaac. That's what is ultimately happening is your own shame and self-loathing dissipates, not because you are able to judge someone else guilty of your crimes, but because you are awash in the mercy of God, that he would take this small, insignificant thing in exchange for the absolution of your own sins.
Right.
And that's a very different thing than perhaps a psychological definition, which I don't think bears any resemblance to the real practice.
Well, again, this is a grad school dropout, so you know.
Yeah, I'm sorry to get on my soapbox about scapegoating. Words mean things, and it's important to understand what they mean.
Well, I mean, you're also not predisposed towards lying, so there's probably that too.
God made goats, chat, so I don't believe that God is predisposed to hate anything of his own creation. He just understands that everything exists to play its own role. And perhaps it is the role of the goat to die for a man's sins in centuries past. But thankfully that exercise and brutality is no longer necessary, for Christ has died for my sins.
Based.
Together over their shared contempt for Chris Chan is a way of processing the shame and anxiety of social rejection and exclusion. And I think for a lot of people, even normal people who aren't part of a bizarre internet stalker community, contemptuous cringing
The people that watch this video are completely well-adjusted, functioning members of society. Okay, boomer.
As evidenced by the thing in like a ringmaster's uniform.
The Slaneshi demon on
looks
our
like-
fucking screen, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, fuck yourself.
helps us cope with our own shame and insecurity. Anyway, it's time to stop this tedious empathizing with other people and find a way to make this all about me.
This
I think you
entire
already did
video
that.
has been entirely, like, the entire segment that we went over is a loose allegory for your own Kiwifarms thread. You're not smart, you're not clever, you're not slick. Everyone can see it if they're at least educated to know what to look for. This is entirely unnecessary.
With the dancing clown toy, I think the it comparisons ought to be hot and heavy.
I don't want to float. I want to sink to the bottom of the abyss and die.
You don't get to do that. You have to float. Oh.
Oh, it gets worse.
Meow meow. Would you like to meet my quarantine?
No, I
Somebody
wouldn't.
kill me, please.
It's the eye
Somebody
color.
kill me, please.
The eye color has changed. The lack of a soul has not.
Yeah.
Those eyes are dead. Glassy eyes, dead eyes, like a doll's eyes.
Yeah.
Boyfriend? Would you like to meet my boyfriend's boyfriend? That's right, honey. I'm giving you Fujoshi realness, nya. He's gonna stay right here.
Unironically,
Dirty
unironically,
Fujoshi.
I think that Contra does do a very good job in embodying the archetypal Fujoshi lifestyle, the rotten girl lifestyle. This person looks like they smell bad.
The archetypal cocksucker.
As a grim reminder of the things that you have seen. Actually, I identify as a trap. It's very that. I guess it's not really cringe if I'm trying to be cringe. Cringe is failed seriousness. In my last video,
No.
That can be cringe, but it is not.
It's not the only embodiment of cringe.
Yeah, it's squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares, Chief.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, mocking cringe and failing to mock it is actually a worse form of cringe than regular cringe.
This is cringe right here. Although
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
they're
that's
trying
my
to be
point.
serious, so yeah.
Well, I mean, a failed attempt at being serious is a form of cringe. That is correct. It is not, however, the entirety of cringe.
Yeah. I'm just glad that, like, the Sailor Moon things in the background, Mercury hasn't been tainted by this fucking awful abyss that we're staring into. It's only Venus, Moon, and Mars, and they can all go fuck themselves. Jupiter and Mercury are the fucking bays.
I was gonna say Jupiter.
Yeah,
Jupiter.
no, Jupiter and Mercury are like the top tier. The rest are shit waifus. Okay.
I talked about how ashamed I am.
Listen, I understand that there are people that are gonna like try to say, but Mars, no, fuck you and fuck your Sailor Mars.
So someone in chat asked, "What circle of Dante's hell are we in?" I believe it is the 5th circle that is given over to the wrathful and the sullen. The sullen are also, in addition to being the overly despairing, they are those who self-mutilate. If I'm remembering my Dante correctly, so I would say we are in that circle. There's
I
a lot.
think we're in the 8th
on here.
circle. I think we're at Pride.
I'm not sure we're at Pride just yet.
Of being a
I just think the self-mutilation is necessary to point out.
Yeah.
Transgender lesbian. Cringe. Shame. At the end of that video, I talk about how I sense that my shame is related to the contemptuous cringe I feel for a lot of other trans lesbians.
Okay, I don't think they're talking about Christianity anymore. I think we can wrap this up. I might do like a dedicated video, but like I might need to like get more alcohol and maybe like Aiden or somebody else to enjoy alcohol with me by just staring into this abyss. So definitely like, comment, and subscribe for more of this shit.
What I will point out is people want to say that we're below the last circle. The thing is that below the last circle is where Dante and Virgil go in order to reach purgatory. So going below the last circle means you're actually going up.
Yeah.
So they can't be below the last circle, guys. This is something. This is not something fit for purgatory or paradise.
Also, I don't really know of any instance of Contrapoints like betraying anyone, and that's the deepest circle of hell. Right? Traitors.
The betrayal of a loved one.
Okay.
There are three figures in the deepest circle of hell. They are Brutus, Judas Iscariot, and I cannot remember the third guy. Maybe it's Crassus, but I don't think, or not Crassus. God, Constantine, help me out here. Who was the main conspirator who murdered Julius Caesar?
Oh,
Cassius?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
I don't know if it's Cassius who's the third guy, but it's someone pretty bad.
But yeah. We've gazed into the abyss, and it's not blinking. I'm scared.
If it is Cassius that's down there, chat, feel free to correct me. But yeah, the deepest circle of hell is saved for traitors, and the deepest of the deepest is saved for those who were truly loved by their victims.
Yeah, chat saying Cassius, and it I don't know, it's 5 a.m., but that sounds right.
There you go.